Hey everybody, welcome back to another Business of Trucking video. Today I want to talk about things that you should never do to keep from harming your carrier, your authority. A lot of people wanted to step out recently, especially this year, and get their own authority. And some of you seasoned guys probably already know all this, but there's a lot to learn, and there's some big no-nos that can kill your carrier and really hurt your business. And today I want to talk about some of them to keep you from making these mistakes, because you may learn some of these things the hard way, and it's better just to learn it now. So if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below this video for some good discounts on some different products, and tune in regularly. We talk a lot about the business of trucking. So let's get started here. The last one, incidentally, is death to a company, and you don't want to miss that last one here. But let's start here. Number one, in the beginning, you may not know all the fees and permits and different taxes you need to pay. Make sure if you're not sure of it all, you have some help. Okay, you got to make sure you have the proper permits for what you're doing, the proper licensing, and pay all the due taxes that you owe. Because if there's one thing that the government does not forgive, it's you owing them money. And you could inadvertently get permits revoked. For instance, if you don't pay a $22.90, and they'll grant you a grace period, issue your plate. If they check back later and see, oh, you didn't pay it, hey, they'll pull your plate until you get that paid. There's multiple instances of things that can happen like that. We talk about a lot of them on this channel, the different fees and permits you need to operate. So check out a lot of those videos. But it's best to have somebody on your side for that. And there can be a lot of things that you don't know, like intrastate versus interstate. Are you also doing intrastate hauling? Well, there can be separate authorities you need for that in a lot of different states. Do you know all the different places you need beer and liquor permits? Do you know about the Pennsylvania lanternfly permit? Yes, that's a real thing. So it can go on, and just make sure you're covered there, so you don't get yourself in a bind there. After that, a lot of people might not know about this, but it's not uncommon for carriers to commit insurance fraud these days. What they'll do is start a company with 5-10 trucks, and they'll go out and they'll get insurance on half of them. Then they'll take the insurance certificates or insurance cab cards and doctor the VIN numbers and doctor this and then put duplicate insurance cards in the uninsured trucks. And then if there is an incident, they just make it look like truck was the one that was insured. At any rate, don't do that. Do not commit insurance fraud. It's getting less and less popular, but there's still a lot of certain types of companies that are doing it. Some of your fly-by-night companies are doing it, and they do it to save enormous costs. And it is illegal, and if you get caught or if you have an accident and get sued, you will regret the day you ever did it. Your life will be over if you have a serious accident and get caught doing that, or somehow the DOT catches you doing it, you'll be in a lot of trouble. So do not commit insurance fraud. Okay, that'll be another one. The next thing is lack of capital and controlling your own assets. And this is just business in general. The number one thing that kills a business in this country is lack of capital. So try not to put yourself behind the 8 ball too bad. I know equipment is expensive, so make sure you have either capital, access to capital through a loan or some source of funding. Maybe if you don't have as much as you think you'd like to have right off the bat, maybe you need to do some factoring or some quick pay. But don't get caught with your pants down and with a repair or some kind of issue that you can't afford to pay for, because your problems will just compound from there. Because you're a carrier now, you're on your own. You don't only have that equipment to worry about and pay for, but you got loads associated with that. You have a major breakdown under a load, it can cost you several $1,000s to get that load taken care of and delivered, and all your responsibilities managed. So Try not to cut yourself short on capital. And with that, control your own asset. Being that you're a carrier with your own authority, you're not probably in a situation where you're lease purchasing a vehicle from a carrier, but this is just a word of advice to people that are doing that. It is always in your best interest to control your own asset. All right, and by that I mean don't have everything tied to your carrier. Have some control, some things that just you can control. If you're lease purchasing that vehicle, when it comes down to the brass tacks, the company's going to make the decisions on that truck, not you. They hold the title. They can control you with it. They could fire you before you make your last payment, and you lose all that equity. So it's in your best interest to control your own asset whenever possible. If it's just not possible for you to do it right at this moment, make it a high priority so you can work towards that. Next, falling off loads. This is a big deal, falling off loads. Brokers keep score. Customers keep score when you fall off loads. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes it is unavoidable. By falling off a load, that means you commit to a load, you sign an agreement on that load, you sign a rate confirmation, you have a contract, and then you have to call up and say, I have to cancel that load on you, or I'm not doing it. There are legitimate reasons to fall off a load. If you break down, can't do the load, there's nothing you can do about that. If something happens where your previous load, maybe you got a load rejected and you can't pick up your next load because you never got that one off the trailer. Okay, that's some people don't book their next load until they're empty. That's either way you want to do it. But some of the not legitimate reasons for falling off a load, like, oh, I found this other load that pays better, or I just decided, I really don't want to do it. You can't be doing these things. You will ruin your business reputation. They keep score. It can go on your carrier 411. They can review you on the load boards. All kinds of places. And if it's a smaller brokerage, you'll never forget your name. So and people talk to each other. So you start developing a reputation for falling off loads for no good reason, you're gonna be untouchable in a short period of time. Once you book a load and you commit to that load, do that load. Do not keep looking for different loads. Your reputation means a lot, and your carrier's service record. It counts for a lot, especially when freight starts to get slow. You can get away with a lot of dumb things when freight is busy because they'll overlook it because they need you. But when the point comes they don't need you so bad, these things matter more than you can imagine. If a situation comes up where we have to fall off a load, say a few weeks ago I had a driver blow a radiator. Okay, I get with the broker. I said, man, my truck just broke down. He was on his way. He was in the town that load was picking up in, and just lost all his antifreeze on the road. We took a picture of it. I emailed that picture to the broker with the explanation of what happened. Broker comes back, says, "We're cool, man. Thanks for providing proof. Hey, no harm, no foul. We're good. That happens sometimes." If I called him up and said, "Man, I'm not doing your load. You're screwing me. I found this other broker that's going to pay me $200 more. You can take your load and shove it." You're committing a wrongful act there. First of all, you agreed to haul the load. You should do what you said you were going to do. And second of all, that's not a good business practice. You can't do business that way. Next, along the same lines, is lying to brokers. Saying, yeah, I'm at the shipper when you're 50 miles away, or arriving late and saying, yeah, I was on time, or for whatever reason. Okay, that's not a good business practice either. I see people do it all the time. No, in today's modern technologies, they have ways of finding out, and you're not going to get away with a lot. It's better just to tell the truth, and a lot of times people who work with you say, well, I appreciate you being truthful. Now you say, well, screw that, brokers lie to me all the time. Yeah, people lie. Two wrongs don't make a right. Be the better business person. Take the high road, be the better business person, tell the truth. And if they lied to you, complete the task, and determine whether or not you need to do business with that person again. But I'm telling you, your reputation counts for a lot in this business. Now, the last thing, and this is an unforgivable act. If you do this even once, your carrier can be poisoned for many brokers. If brokers see this one thing on your record, most of them will not touch you. Ones of any reputation will not touch you. And that is holding a load hostage. And what I mean by that is picking up a load and finding a reason that you're not going to deliver it until they meet your demand. Okay? So you pick up a load, you're mad at the broker because, I don't know, a delivery time got messed up, or you suddenly think that you need more money, or just taking it to your yard and dropping it, and whatever reason. A popular one is to pick it up and say, no, I want more money, and I'm not delivering it until I get more money. That is an unforgivable act. You can never, ever do that. If you have a dispute with the broker, do your best to settle it. Settle it professionally. Even if you sometimes you're going to take a loss a little bit, or break even. You got to get it off your trailer and you got to move on. After it is done, you say or do what you need to do as long as it is honest. But holding a load hostage can ruin you. It's one thing that they look for when they check. When you call a broker and they say, what's your MC number? That's what they're checking. They're checking, well, number one, they're checking to see if you're set up in their system. And number two, they're checking your freight guard score, your carrier 411, to see, number one, are you qualified? Do you pass the safety rating? Have you ever committed one of these unforgivable acts? Okay. So, that being said, you can never do that. Now, like I said, I'm fully aware that some brokers don't tell the truth. Some brokers lie. You got to know that you can review them too. On DAT, on Internet Truck Stop, you can leave them reviews. And if something like that happens and is bad enough, you should always report them for non-payment if they don't pay you. You should also report them for anything just underhanded and unprofessional that they do. But deliver the load. Get that. Fulfill your obligations so that anything you say is coming from a place of being honest and having done the right thing. And then whatever they do is indefensible. Sometimes, but keep in mind too, sometimes people are wrong. Being wrong does not necessarily equate to lying. Lying is being intentionally deceitful. Being wrong is just being misinformed. Like if he tells you your appointment was 8 a.m. and it was really 9 a.m., he might have lied, but he might have also been told that your appointment was 8 a.m. So, determine all the facts before you report somebody for something. But anyway, just wanted to touch on a few of those things, and wish everybody the best of luck, and everybody take care, and we'll see you next time.